Hello, hello everyone. Happy Friday. This is Ben Ikari once more. Um, the brief topic today is Africa has always been the thing. Africa has always been the thing. Africa has always been the place. Africa has always been the next thing. Only that it has never been for the benefit of the African child and people. It has always been to the benefit of the West, of the imperial masters, of the colonialists, say France, say the UK, say America, one of the imperialists, and other groups. There's never been any time in history that Africa, being the cradle of mankind, has never been the place. There's never been such time. It has always been the place. But it has always been the place for exploitation, the place to exploit, the place where the world come to feast, to take everything that is good out, including our people who were forced into slavery, but they were taken not as dummies. A lot of them have trades, a lot of them have creative minds. That's why they were able to export music. They were able to export other things. They were able to create in America, even as slaves. So, today, the story is gradually changing because of the determination of the African people. Africans have seen that the place is so rich that everybody comes to take. But the people, the local people, the African children, they will not benefit, except some bourgeois politicians and oligarchs. Africa is so rich that it's so rich with people, about 1.4, 1.5 billion people as we speak, and has the most youthful population anywhere in the world currently. It has the most land, arable land in the world, and it has the most mineral resources that would even power the so-called transformation to renewable energy. Africa is the place. Africa has always been the place. Africa is the thing. Africa has always been the next thing, but it has not been for the benefit of the African child. But it is changing. The African people are now beginning to see the need. Why? Courtesy the advent of the internet, people are able to communicate, people are able to research, people are able to see things, people are able to appreciate themselves for who they are. Africans have been fed with lies, with fictions. They've been indoctrinated to believing that they are nobodies, even though they happen to be the creator, the foundation of the world, the place where the first humans were found, or where humans actually started life, actually began, where life began. All right? Africa populated every other part of the world. Okay? So those you bet and populate cannot come back to start teaching you rubbish. You know how fella said, teacher no teach me rubbish, or teacher no teach me nonsense? That has been the situation. The African people have been fed with things that are completely alien to their history and culture and tradition. They've been made to hate themselves. They've been balkanized into pieces, little groups, little ethnic groups, call names, minority, this, that, and brothers and sisters no longer know or love themselves because Europeans deliberately and strategically factionize or factionalize the people, divided the African people into little and some large countries so they can conveniently exploit the continent to their advantage and to the disadvantage of the African people, except few who they manipulate and all of that. So, long story short, if African people, if African leaders, if African youths, if both Africans in diaspora and the motherland are able to come together in unity, as Kwame Nkrumah once invoked in his speeches and his book, Africa Must Unite, and other literatures that have been out there, written by Africans and sometimes by non-Africans who decide to speak the truth, who speak truth to power. If these forces can come together, understanding what Africa is, I mean, you just cannot imagine. Why would any African country worry about sanctions from the West if African resources happen to be the most that they depend on? Imagine how they use ECOWAS, manipulated ECOWAS to sanction small Niger Republic, although Niger Republic is large in landmass. They manipulated your own brother to do to you what the slave master and the colonial master would do. Make life bitter, make life tough, close the airspace, close the road, close everywhere, and put the people in very tough time. But Niger Republic is still here today. Burkina Faso is here today. Mali is here today. Guinea is here today. All of those countries that decide to stand up, that decide to invoke the African self-determination and sovereignty, and were ostracized by the West, and were called names and threatened, and called undemocratic, when the West has never been democratic, but forcing things from people, stealing people's wealth, and killing those who resist, just like they are doing in Palestine. Okay? So, I mean, there's no reason to be worried about Western sanctions if we have everything it takes to succeed as a people. All it takes is unity, is understanding how the world works, is collaborating, joining forces with Mali, with Burkina Faso, with Niger Republic, and any other African country that is ready to coalesce because the dream of one Africa is possible. And that is the only salvation. That's the only way out. Because as Kwame Nkrumah and the rest scholars said before now, Africa cannot succeed as it is. And we have seen it. It is evident. 60 years after independence, no African country has been able to succeed economically and even sociopolitically by itself. So it is that synergy, it is that unity, it is that glue, that stickiness, that brotherhood that matters. Burkina Faso is showing us that it is possible. Mali is showing us that it is possible. Niger is showing us that it's possible. So why can't we just come together from all across the world as Africans, as black people, and make it happen? Because if Africa is well and hardy, if Africa is strong, economically, politically, and otherwise, no country in the world will want to mess with Africans outside of the continent. But look at how we're treated today. Everywhere we go, we're treated like nobodies, like non-entities, like beasts of burden. Yet, we own what the world depends on. What an irony. So Africa needs this synchronized leadership and management that is strategic, hence efficient and effective. That leadership that is competent, that can communicate to the African people, and the people will easily understand. That leadership that would respect the people, that would be incorruptible. Okay? Once we are able to gradually midwife that, there will be no reason for any African to die in the sea. Even as it stands, there's no reason for any African to die in the sea. Why must we be running away from wealth and back into the plantations across the West? What does Europe have that Africans died to go? Most of the things that is Europe today came from Africa. Same as America. So Africans, this era is yours. It is time to change the music even more perfectly. I'm glad what's happening so far, but there is need for more. There is need for more purposeful, intentional leadership and followership, because it has been the case where African population celebrate, jubilate with, and even protect those stealing from them, those killing them, the politicians that steal from them, and the politicians that are making life like hush for them. Look at what's happening in Nigeria today. Look at the suffering. But it is the same people, the same masses that supported and protected and jubilated with, sing songs and praise the same politicians stealing from them. So it is an irony, but it is reversible if only we are willing as Africans to take our rightful place. Life is good. There's no reason for an African child to give up. Life is good. We only have to turn things around. We only have to understand who we are, where we have been as a people. Okay? We should not be surprised that the West deliberately wrote the African story in a negative way to suit its purpose and making Africans look and think like beggars. No, Africans are not beggars. Africans are rich, one of the richest set of people on earth. But we only have to tap that potential and realize our dream. Forward ever, backward never. Ubuntu. Thank you very much. Ben Ikare.